Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Kevin, good evening, and welcome back. Welcome back for another recording, another episode. How are you?
Let's get to it. I like that. I'm doing great.
You're just now catching that? We've had that for a while. Isn't that weird, though, how you listen to it and like something you'll key in on something that's been there for a while?
It'll hit you all over again, like you're hearing it for the first time.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I suppose you never stop talking about the weather, do you? Because it's always changing. But I am sick and tired of winter. I've had it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. You've seen the memes floating around about I don't know who pissed off Elsa, but you need to apologize.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm ready for some warm weather and some chilling outside where it's nice.
Ready for the spring.
Yeah, some motorcycle riding and nice warm weather and swimming pool time and so on.
Maybe we'll do some recording outside somewhere at some point in the great outdoors. Yeah, I like that idea.
We could do that.
You bet.
All right. So what? Anything new on in your world to report?
Same old stuff. Yeah, just working hard. Looking forward to the world slowly coming back to the new normal in this post-COVID. I mean, we're still hunkered down hard, but it does seem like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm looking forward to more light appearing at the end of that tunnel and eventually getting out of the tunnel. That's what I'm looking forward to, because I'll speak for myself. I can only stay indoors and be happy about that for so long, and then
I'm with you. I think it's healthy to get out and do stuff.
Definitely.
You can't be I think cave time's important, but you shouldn't be a cave dweller all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No
yeah.
doubt.
You doing well?
I am. Had a good little moving detail this weekend, helping my daughter and her husband, my youngest daughter and her husband move. That was a fun experience.
Did you get beer and pizza? Was that your payoff, or what was?
No, donuts is what we.
Donuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
We bribed them with donuts, or they did.
Krispy Kreme. What kind of?
There were some of those.
Okay.
Yeah, there was Krispy Kreme. Yeah, you can't go wrong with those donuts.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah.
That was a good exercise. Lots of stairs. Yeah. So.
Okay. I think I might be done with my last big move like that, just because I'm tired of moving and tired of actually lifting things up and carrying them around.
If you have an inclination to move, you're toying with that idea, the best way to get over it is to help somebody else move. Yeah, it'll kill that quickly.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So you ready for another episode?
Yeah.
Any thought before we dive into this next one? Any thoughts from the last one? Anything that you've kind of simmered on or had additional thoughts on from our last conversation?
Two things popped to mind immediately. First of all, I like the intro that you changed. That looks good.
Now people aren't confused. Is this a video or is this just audio? Because we have that little intro section, and there's no live talking, and the video we just had. The first couple ones were kind of stagnant. So yeah, I threw some wording in there, so it looks like that. At least people know it's a video. But I'm a video editing rookie, so
not at all.
Working through the process.
Yeah, well, it becomes more professional every single day that we do this, and so again, thank you for putting in the time to
You're
make
welcome.
that happen. So that's thing number one. And thing number two is it was just an out freaking standing topic. That's what it was, and it was good stuff. That's
Yes. Vart.
Vart.
Yes.
There you go.
Anybody joke about the topic at all? Any?
No. The only all I got was positive feedback on it. That it was helpful and a good mental handle.
I got positive feedback as well. And you know the crew that I hang around.
Oh my goodness.
They're not going to let the opportunity go when something is that close to the word fart.
Yes.
So I had to endure a little bit of that. But
Okay.
Yeah, not a big deal.
All right.
Yeah, the content itself was outstanding though.
It was indeed. So it was your turn to pick. And what'd you do?
I've been thinking about doing a topic or doing something kind of like this for several episodes, and it just hasn't completely come to the point where I wanted to launch it. And so it was my turn this time, and I thought, let's talk about this. And I wasn't really sure what the title was going to be, but ultimately what I wanted to discuss was that little voice in your head, and you've heard me refer to it as the guy that stands on your shoulder, that little gremlin that talks you out of stuff when you have great ideas, and is your own worst enemy, saying negative things to you about your abilities and so on. And so
imposter syndrome and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
That little bastard that's on your shoulder, he is a gremlin. And so I thought, well, let's talk more about that, right? So gray matter gremlins is what I want to discuss, and how they contribute to I think the restlessness in your life. So I'd like to talk about them, the impact, and how to calm your soul, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. It's a little it is. It's a little bit different.
Like, that's awesome.
No. I honestly didn't have to force that out. I really do think it's
that's
good.
a little bit different. Is that what you said?
Well, it's different than the last thing, the part about calming your restless soul.
Right.
That was not a take when you gave me the title. That was not the take that I interpreted.
I could see
so
that.
I went in I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we're covering the same stuff. Always interesting.
Yeah,
That's
no
for
doubt.
Sure.
It's funny you say that about different, because I saw a billboard, or actually it's a little electronic sign at a local business out here on 17, Burton's Automotive, right? They've got that little sign out front, and it said, I want to make sure I get this right. It said they laugh because I'm different, and I laugh because they're not.
Okay. That's pretty good.
I'm like, damn, that's deep, right? Think about it, right?
It is.
Because, and the way I took that was, this guy or whoever the person is that, people are laughing at because they're different. That's exactly the way they want to be.
That's
and it
right.
makes them stand out. And, the whole, I'm laughing back at them because they're not, kind of speaks to the conformists that we have in our society, and folks so hell-bent on fitting in instead of being who they were meant to be.
I actually love that you said that, because the older I get, the more I realize how important it is to just be yourself. Stop trying to be who you think other people want you to be. Stop trying to be who you think your boss wants you to be. I mean, be yourself. Each one of us is a miracle.
Yeah.
And each one of us is unique.
Unless you're an asshole. If you're an asshole, don't be an asshole.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're an asshole and you've been, masquerading as a nice guy for the entire existence that you've had thus far, don't change that up.
Right. Yeah. You're all right. I like you just the way you are.
Well, I appreciate
Don't change. Yeah. Don't do anything on account of me. Not that you would anyway.
I do need to shave my head though. I didn't take time to do that today, but I was looking in the mirror. I was like, damn, I'm really close to Chia Pet stage.
Man, I wish we had a cameraman.
Yeah, we're not going to zoom in on that.
I wish we had You're right.
It's far enough away. I don't think it stands out really, but it definitely needs a
You know,
going over.
On the side where it's, where you still got a lot of hair, it kind of looks like normal. But on the top,
you know, the thing that I do notice about the hair on the side of my head, it's a lot darker than yours.
No.
That brown hair you claim to have on your head.
On the top of your head, it's amazing.
There's not a lot there.
You have like one hair every square inch sticking up. It's really. Oh my goodness!
Hey, if you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make? Then you have no right to make fun of anybody else.
You started it, so there you go. No, you brought it up.
That's right.
Anyway, I love the topic, and I look forward to getting into it. So, you kind of introduced the topic. Did you also address adequately? I mean, and that's not a good way to say it. As much as you wanted to, why you chose it?
I don't know if I did.
Okay.
So for me, that's it's one of those things that I find is, at least in my own head, and I think other people, there's a lot of research out there that talks about the amount of conversations you have with yourself and how prevalent self-talk is, and in fact, you're talking to yourself more than you're talking to anybody else, and hopefully it's not out loud in public, where people are noticing weird things about you.
Yes.
But there's also ways to get around that too, with cell phones and Bluetooth stuff. Now you just put one of those in your ear, you talk to yourself all day long. Nobody will think any different. They think you're just on the phone. But I think those conversations are going on all the time, and they have an impact because, as you've talked about and we've discussed in previous episodes about the percentage of those thoughts and those conversations that you're having are like 80% negative.
Right.
So how do you combat that, and what kind of an impact is that having on you when you don't address it and you don't quell it and reshape it, reframe it into something positive? I think there's you talk about manifesting things in your life and attracting certain things to you and so on. And when you are in a negative state like that, or you're having those negative thoughts and so on, you're not, there might be something great on the way to you that you've been asking for. And it hits that negative force field that you're emitting, and boom, it's gone, bounces off and goes to somebody else.
Goes away. You're right. We are all, I think the word that popped into my head when you were talking was, self-awareness. I think there's a whole bunch of people out there who don't really realize that there is this ongoing conversation in their head because they're just not paying attention to it. So that's thing number one. They don't think about it that way. Like, I'm having this conversation. Well, no, I'm not. Well, I guess, yeah, maybe I am. And thing number two is, how much of it is negative?
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah, it's been studied, and 80% of the thoughts that we have on average. Now, there are some people who make the decision to not do that, and you can, but the first step is being aware that there's this conversation going on in your head that you need to sort of pay attention to and realize, what is it that I'm saying to myself? And if on average 80% of it is negative, what are those negative things that I'm saying? Those are the things that I would just call out straight away. Yeah,
and what is your prevailing state or mood, the demeanor that you operate in? Are you a calm person? Are you fun to be around, or do you seem like you're wound up all the time? How do you respond to things like conflict, things that you don't necessarily agree with, and so on? How do you get, are you quick to get mad about those things and have difficulty controlling your emotions and so on? I think all of those things are tied together, and I know for me, in my younger days, and we talk about the wisdom of the ages and so on, and I don't know that. Well, no, I do know that I got smarter, no doubt, because I learned things and know things now that I didn't know in my younger days. But the interesting thing is that, I made a reference to calming your restless soul. That soul, that person that we are, that being that is here in this life and will travel with us to the next life, or that's who we are. Our physical form will go away. That soul is something that continues to evolve, and it's interesting to think about how I'll say 25, 30 years ago, things that that bothered me or would upset me, make me angry, and that I would react to. Now I just don't I don't get upset about things like that. I mean, I'm not just I'm not saying I walk around and things don't ever upset me. I mean, there's certain things that will offend me, and at the same time, how I react to it is different now than what it used to be. And because I'm ever conscious of how my emotions will impact my mental well-being and my physical well-being, and how it'll either you can like shed it real quickly, or it can ruin the rest of your damn day if you let it, or week, or whatever. And I just think that you have to be in control of those emotions and those little gray matter gremlins that are having those negative conversations, making you think those negative thoughts, and you got to shut it down, because ultimately you're here to enjoy your experience, this physical life, this enjoy the ride, as we say.
Right.
So if you're screwing that up because you're having all these negative thoughts and responding inappropriately to things, and being quick to be angry, and worry about things all the time, and you're messing up the experience you're supposed to be having.
And it can be the simplest things. And again, back to that awareness piece of it. A lot of people don't even realize it's happening. I know, again, specific example. I mentioned to you before, I will wake up in the morning, and usually within the first 30 minutes or so, depending on what I'm doing, I will look at the headlines, the news headlines. I'll go on to the, couple key websites that I like to look at, and I read what's on there just to kind of get us. And I mean, something can hit me that I've read that I don't agree with, or I don't like it's going on, or I don't like a stance that somebody's taking on something, in the political spectrum, or there might be a sporting news that, who knows what it is. But you're right. All of a sudden, you got this irritation that's bugging you. And we've had the conversation in the past before where it's a great reminder. Nobody can upset you unless you give them permission to do so.
Right.
You have to decide. You can instantly say, when somebody says something to you, you can say, I'm just not going to let that bother me. I am making the decision right now. I mean, I have every right to be bothered. They shouldn't have said it. They're an asshole.
Right.
But I'm not going to let it bother me. And a lot of times that's like heaping burning coals upon their head, because that really irritates them. Because why aren't you getting upset? Because I'm not. Because I don't want to. That's being aware that it's happening, and then making the decision, just like you said, getting a hold of it. Getting a hold of, wow, this has happened. And if it's bugging you all day long, think about all of the very productive, all of the very creative things that are not floating around in your brain, because you're so busy being focused on that negative piece of whatever.
Yeah. I mentioned the whole vibration thing, and I do believe that we vibrate at certain levels, and you want to be in a harmonious zone and putting those good vibrations out there, because literally if you're not, and you're putting the negative stuff out there, then stuff is just bouncing off of you and never making its way to you. And I'm not talking about bad things. I'm talking about good things are bouncing off of you and never making their way to you, and they're going to other people because you're not at the level that you need to be at. Yeah,
that's a great point. And if you let's say that you're in pursuit of, you're trying to improve yourself, you're going after a goal, you're something like that, and all of a sudden something lights you off, something happens that really upsets you. Just like you said, all of a sudden an opportunity comes flying in, and you are blind to it because you're in the wrong headspace to let it penetrate and get into you. It just bounces right off, and you go on, and there's an opportunity missed, and you don't even know that it came and that it went.
I think it's cool that you say that, because I think if people actually sit back and think about things that have transpired in their lives in times past, and I know I've said many times, learn from the past, don't live in it, and this is one of those learning from the past things. You can go back and reflect a little bit, and I think folks can maybe identify times where exactly what you just said happened, and they because of something else that was going on, they were in this angst, and they missed out on an opportunity because they weren't interested at the time, or they were all spun up about something else. And it's I know we all have those.
And when those gremlins are yelling and screaming and crawling around, and you are in that negative headspace, that creates mental blocks that make you less productive, less creative, all of those things. And so, yeah, I think, and I suppose it's probably on your list, but since you haven't said it yet, I'll go ahead and do it.
All right, have at it.
One of the ways to combat these gremlins is to have an attitude of gratitude. Just simply something that simple. And I've mentioned many times on our podcast the Compound Effect, the book called The Compound Effect.
Right.
The author wrote it. He's got a habit, which I don't do exactly like he does it, but I do it almost every day.
You said do.
Oh, yeah, I did. Man, is that the second time I've done that or third?
I don't know.
I'm going to catch you one of these times.
You probably will.
Yeah,
I'm very sensitive to it, though,
Yes,
because
you
I don't, I don't want to be hypocritical about it.
Somebody must have really caught you and embarrassed you on that.
No, I think that's, isn't that a Beavis and Butthead thing or
Probably.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which one are you?
I'm Butthead. There you go.
All right, fair enough. No
Yeah.
argument there.
I let you out of that one.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? We were talking about gratitude.
Yes.
Oh, so he has a phone that has a snooze alarm on it, and so he'll set his, let's say you set it for 6 o'clock in the morning. He'll set his alarm for 6 o'clock, and he's got the snooze turned on, and on his phone the snooze goes for 8 minutes. He didn't ask for that. It is what it is. That's what it's set at. So.
Okay.
From the time his alarm goes off the first time, he'll spend the next 8 minutes in a state of gratitude as he's waking up until his snooze alarm goes off again, and then he'll get out of bed. But that 8 minutes of, what am I grateful to? He starts thinking about what.
I'm grateful for 8 more minutes of chilling out, right?
Yeah, some people will do that.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's a cool way to do it, though.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Isn't that? You just, you hit the alarm or whatever and make it go to snooze. I don't use snooze, so I don't know how it works. But how does it work? The alarm goes off. Do you turn it off or do you hit snooze? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, you just hit that little button, and I do that occasionally. I try to catch myself and limit the number of times, but yeah.
You have a period of time.
Yeah, I think mine's set for 10 minutes.
And the times that I do that, and I because I don't use snooze, but I do. I'll wake up sometimes and I'll start thinking, I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for this podcast. I'm grateful for all of the things that I'm grateful for in life. And man, it makes a difference. You get out of bed, and those gremlins are not all that negativity. It ain't getting you down first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
it's quite wonderful.
I think it's an interesting way to look at it, because I think you can tell a lot about yourself. There's a lot of, if you're looking, there's a lot of information right there in front of you by how you wake up in the morning. Do you wake up and you're like, oh, another day? I've mentioned Dr. Dave Martin, a pastor, before, and he puts it like this. He says, do you wake up and you say, how does he say it? Let's see. He says, wake up and say, good morning, Lord. Or do you wake up and say, good Lord, morning? I mean, there's a difference, right, in the way you think about that.
There really is. It's a great it's a great way to look at it. Absolutely.
Yeah, hit the ground running, and be happy about it. Be thankful for another day. It's a gift.
It is a gift. And another strategy that I thought of while I was thinking about the topic was, there's some rule or law or something that people talk about in this. I'm going to call it substitution. There's probably maybe let's call it the law of substitution. If that doesn't exist, and I think it does. We just made it
does
up.
now.
It does now, right?
That's right.
But that is, you can really only concentrate on one thing at a time, and if you make the conscious decision, the purposeful decision, as you would say, the intentional decision to focus on something good, something positive, something righteous, something that makes you happy, something that makes you feel grateful. You've substituted that for something else. And so the negative thoughts, that they can't be active in your head at the same time. And so making the conscious decision to substitute something good for anything else, doesn't matter what it is, whether you're thinking about work or thinking about your work list or thinking about mowing the lawn or thinking about shoveling snow, If you take the time to think about something that really puts you in a good headspace with intention, that's another way to combat these gremlins early on.
Yeah. So what could we call that? What if we were going to create an entity that is the alter ego of the gremlin? What would we call those little dudes? Because we all need those, and we need to focus on developing whoever that is that's going to combat the gremlin, right? So who slays the gremlin?
Well, I mean, traditionally, right? It's angel devil. Is it?
Yeah.
Are we? The gremlin is the devil, and the angel is the one who's helping on the other side.
That'll work.
That'll work.
Yeah. So develop some little warrior angels to tell that gremlin to shut up.
Warrior angel. There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to guardian angel.
Yeah.
Warrior. I like it.
Yeah, because
warrior angel. Yes, I like it.
Because guardian. That's one thing, but sometimes there's some active fighting that you need to do to suppress those gremlins, and just being there to guard is not effective. You've got to go on the offensive.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I think being intentional, and there's another great book that I have enjoyed thoroughly, which, have I told you about this book before? Maybe I have. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind.
I don't think
it's written by a guy named Dr. Joseph Murphy, and it's old. It's probably 50 years old, maybe-ish, when he wrote it. But it's a book that I've read probably close to 10 times at various points in my life. And sort of in a phrase, what he does is he gives you tools that you can use every day to penetrate into your subconscious mind, to feed yourself the good self-talk that keeps you out of the gremlin talk that you're getting from the outside. And it's really outstanding, and it's different than, because a lot of people say, oh, it's just not this book, but if you repeat these positive mantras or these positive affirmations, and I'm not saying that those are bad or wrong, they can work as well, but he's trying to go a layer deeper and help you recognize that there are two aspects to our brain. There's the conscious brain and there's the subconscious brain. All the stuff that's going on when you're dreaming at night, all of that is the subconscious, and it doesn't know the difference between reality and fiction. And so if you start feeding it information, whether it's good or whether it's bad, it's going to believe you.
Right.
And
I think your subconscious mind's in charge. I think that it's controlling the majority of what you do. I mean, there's limits, but I always use this as an example. You drive the morning drive, when actually people used to leave the house to go to work before the pandemic hit and people are teleworking. But when you think about it, when have you ever had one of those experiences where you get to work and then just you're sitting there in the parking lot about to walk into the building, and you realize that you don't remember anything about the drive from your house to the office.
Yes.
Nothing. No traffic lights, what roads you took, probably the same ones you regularly take, but that's all about your subconscious and being in the driver's seat. And there's definitely ways to reprogram that subconscious so that you'll react differently to situations when they present themselves.
Yeah, and I love the idea that when you truly believe in something and you are feeding yourself that kind of information about that belief, that faith that you have in a direction that you're going, a goal that you're going after, that all of the world, putting that energy out there,
right,
all the world conspires to help you become successful at that. I believe that absolutely happens because you're aware of it. You're seeing what's going on, those opportunities that before were bouncing off because your mind was somewhere else. You see them, you grab hold of them, you move in that direction. That makes you aware of more and different opportunities. And so it feels like the world is conspiring to make you successful where you're moving with intention. It's almost like magic.
Yeah, the complete opposite of where a lot of people spend their time.
Right.
It's like, I've had conversations with friends of mine that'll walk into a restaurant and sit down for dinner, and they'll say, I eat here frequently, and they always mess my food up.
Yeah.
You know?
I think you've mentioned that on the podcast
Yeah,
before.
so, well, what are the chances they're not going to mess it up tonight, because you're ordering that up every time you show up here.
And you're going to be looking for it.
Yeah.
And any little thing that might be wrong, if you were in a happy mood and you didn't be all focused on what was going wrong, you may never see it.
Yeah.
But you're, that, I don't know how, something went wrong and you're going to point it out, and then all of a sudden it's a downward spiral from there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it really is. It comes down to that mindset, how you operate, and like I mentioned earlier, how do you respond to something that upsets you? Do you carry that anger around? Do you snap at somebody else and blame them? Because now you've missed an opportunity to keep yourself from having a bad experience and passed it on to somebody else. Now you brought somebody else into your own little circle of hell, and now they're going to have a bad day too because you snapped at them. If you're walking around and that's the way you react to things, you might want to take a minute and think about that, because that's not a healthy way to respond to stuff.
No.
And I admit that openly without shame, because I know in times past I've been in that space, and I catch myself regularly, reacting differently now, and that's not new. It's like, not within the last 30 days or something. I mean, this has been going on for years. I just think I've become more comfortable with who I am, and just don't let external things like that bother me. I want to be I want this existence I have here on earth to be peaceful and enjoyable, and that is the vibration that I put out there, and the intent that I operate under, and that's what keeps coming back to me.
Yeah, I actually meant to make that same point early on and just say, probably most people at one point or another in their lives can say that they've mastered this this issue from the wrong side, meaning that they aren't aware of all the negative self-talk in their head. They aren't aware of how destructive it's being. They aren't aware of all of the things that it's impacting on their lives until years later. And I can tell you, I can just right off the top of my head, I am the master of not again, same thing, not at this stage in our lives, or at least in my life. A lot of that I've worked through, and now I'm to the point where I tell you what, man, I got to skip in my step every single day. I do. I am so happy to be alive and doing what I'm doing.
It's kind of cute to watch too. You see, like, who is that? Oh, that's just Kevin. He's skipping out to his car.
Who's that old man with a gray beard skipping down the street? Yeah.
I forget what it was. I was watching a sports contest of some description here not too long ago, and like the guy, it might have even been the Super Bowl, but it was like right after the coin toss, and the guy turned around and like skipped back to the sideline.
One of the players?
Yeah. I was like, what the hell was that? But you know what? Hey, more power to him. He's having a good time.
He was warming up.
Yeah, that's cool. That's an interesting warm up.
Warming
up for what?
Do you have can you think of an example in your life of a time where you, or maybe a period of time where you were intentional about having the right mindset, and that you were moving in a direction, and that it really helped you out continuing to do that?
I think that that really started to shift for me at about age 37. Right? You think I just plucked that one off the wall, right?
Oh, you mean
I know exactly when it happened.
Okay. Wow.
It for me, it all had to do with going back to school, and ultimately engaging in a coaching relationship with one of my professors at the time, who was going through a coaching process and needed to coach some folks as a part of the certification program for that particular coaching.
Okay. So professional business coaching, not
athletic coaching.
Okay.
Because when it was first offered to me, I was like, what is that? I understood what coaching was when it came to athletics, and I played sports, and I get that, but up until that point, I had not really understood how that could be utilized in the business world or in life as in general, and it opened my mind to a whole a bunch of new stuff.
Okay.
And in fact, I'll give her a
Turn the
shout out,
corner.
right?
Oh.
So Dr. Ann Bird, who has been on this podcast before, is that person that offered me that coaching, and it absolutely changed my life.
Awesome. And here you are.
Yeah, it made a huge difference.
Okay.
And so that's what I can tell you exactly when it happened.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Wow.
And from that point forward, it was a work in progress from that point forward. But I began to learn things and open my mind to stuff I had no idea about. The law of attraction and the importance of gratitude and those things. I just didn't understand them the way I understand them now.
Okay.
And that's what opened the door for me.
Cool. For some reason, I don't know why I just thought of this, but I'm going to pay forward a story that I heard from Jim Rohn on one of his tapes, or Audible in this case. Tapes are dating you. But he
was this a reel to reel?
He tells this story. This is the opposite of letting the gremlins get you.
Okay.
I think said he was with his wife. They were in California, and they stopped. This is back when service stations were, people would come out and wash your windows and check your tires. And
I was one of those guys.
You were one of those guys?
Yeah, in high school, man. That was one of my first jobs. I was a petroleum byproduct transfer engineer.
Okay. That's what you called yourself.
Yeah, I pumped gas.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So I remember those days as well, and I don't know that they still exist except on the Jersey Turnpike when you got they have to pump your gas, but they don't do anything else.
Yeah, unless you're riding a motorcycle, they just hand you that.
They do. Okay, that's anyway. He told the story of he was so sort of pleasantly had a very pleasant interaction with a young man who came out and did the service on his vehicle. That they drove a mile or two further, bought a milkshake, brought it back, and gave it to that young man. And that young man was totally blown away. I mean, this cost $2. Probably back then, not even $1, whatever. Today's equivalent of $2, $3, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And he still tells that story. Well, he's not with us anymore, but he told that story for the rest of his life. And so much joy and so much happiness and so much appreciation that his mind benefited from that one very simple, very inexpensive, telling the story over again and thinking about that's one simple act that you can do to make somebody else's life better. That guy will never forget it. You'll never forget it either, because it caused you to have so many positive spin-offs from that event. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Such a simple thing.
Yeah, you think about that, right? Is anybody, can you think of a scenario in your life that was like that, where somebody did something incredibly kind like that for you, to thank you for something, or just in general, right? Because they felt like that was something that you needed at that particular point in your life. Yeah, it can have such an impact on someone, way greater than you'll ever know.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of times you don't even get the benefit of knowing how much positive impact you've had on them. In many, many cases, every once in a while you'll hear somebody say, "I remember you from years ago. You did this for me," and you go, "I did."
Right. And sometimes you might have difficulty remembering the scenario they're talking about, or the incident they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it certainly can leave a mark on folks. And isn't that what it's all about? Right? Helping, not only helping yourself have a great existence here and a great journey in this experience we call life, but at the same time helping other people do the same thing. Right,
absolutely. I you know how I like lists and mental handles and things, like VART. You can hear about that one again. I came up with 4 easy steps.
All right.
As I was thinking about this, and I'll be quick with them, to combat the gremlins. And I will say, based on your title, to calm the, what did you say? Calm
your restless soul.
Your restless soul. Okay.
Calming your restless soul.
So this has some specificity to it, but it will still work. All right.
Specificity. I love that word. Sometimes I say that in my alter ego voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I heard this on the radio today. I thought it was hilarious. Why is the word abbreviation so long?
That's a great question.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard another one.
Somebody should fix that.
I know.
Isn't there a way to like shorten stuff?
Why do they call them chicken fingers if chickens don't have fingers?
Okay, this is not a comedy podcast. Just so you know, this is about personal development and enjoying your life and so on. We do not claim to be a comedy channel.
4 easy steps. Step number 1, set your goals. Do so when you're in a state of gratitude, okay? And you don't have to be big and fancy with spreadsheets. You can have a white piece of paper like you carry around and write down your goals on your spiral notebook, okay? Only 5 things. That's all you got to do. Number 2.
Hold on. You got to pause for a second.
Wait, what?
I'm having an argument with my gremlin. He wanted to say something mean to you, and we're just talking. No. He's talking me. I'm talking him down.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. All right. 4 easy steps. Set your goals. Do so with intention, and give yourself, while you're doing so, a number of really good reasons to achieve these goals. Okay, because the more reasons you have, the better you are.
Right.
Number 2. Spend 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, shortly after you wake up, reviewing your goals and thinking about and imagining and visioning yourself being successful at accomplishing those goals. So project yourself into the future, see yourself being successful, see yourself getting the money, the trophy, the sense of accomplishment from it. Step number 3, do the same thing at night, 5 minutes. That's all I'm telling you to do. When you set yourself up in the morning by doing it, all of a sudden your mind is thinking about those things instead of the nasty headlines or the comment that somebody's making to you. That you remind yourself just before you go to sleep at night again, so that you dream good things about it. And then the 4th step is persist in that. You do that, I'm telling you, it will transform your life. There you go.
That's very cool. That is very cool. The one thing I'd like to challenge folks that are listening is to catch yourself. Catch yourself after listening to this. Be aware of how you respond to certain things that occur in your life, and catch yourself before you react to something that you're about to get upset about, or you're about to let it have a negative impact on you, or you're about to talk yourself out of something. Pump the brakes. And celebrate the fact that you just caught yourself and that you have the opportunity to pump the brakes and veer off of that path a little bit and stay where you need to stay, and not react in a negative way or not miss an opportunity that may be coming your way.
Maintain that situational awareness. Yeah, catch yourself. I like it. And the other thing I'll add to that is piling on the imposter syndrome podcast that we did a couple times ago.
Right.
You are way more capable of doing amazing things than you give yourself credit for. And I mean you, but I mean everybody.
Yeah, that's
human beings.
Speaking to everyone.
Human beings are remarkable, and the things that we can accomplish when we put our mind to it. I mean, really put our mind to it, and are focused about getting it done. It's
no
amazing.
Limits.
Yeah, it's amazing what people can do. And so realize that about yourself. Stop the madness. Stop the imposter syndrome. Stop the negative self-talk. Replace it. Substitute it. What did we call it? Well, what was that thing where I already forgot the phrase. You're searching for it too,
yeah,
right?
Well, I'm trying to understand the question you're asking.
No, I said, what are we going to call this idea where you substitute one thing for another? What did you call it?
Yeah, I don't.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. I don't remember.
Do that. Do that, meaning substitute and replace all of the things that could be coming into your head that are having a negative impact, and replace them with things that are positive. Maintaining that situational awareness and persisting with it throughout the day, being aware.
Yeah, and don't be the one that or part of the group that's standing there laughing at somebody for being different when you're standing around a bunch of people that are just like you.
Warrior angel, that's what you called it.
Okay, that came to my mind a second ago, but I didn't think that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you got to activate your warrior angel.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
Cut them loose. Take them off leash and let them have at the gremlin.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole being different thing, and I think that speaks to how we talk to ourselves too, right? So we sometimes you don't want to step out of your comfort zone because people are going to look at you and they're going to judge you for being different. Yeah, sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen because you are your own unique creation, and you need to be who you were meant to be.
People want different. They don't want the same old thing. If you're spending a lot of time trying to be somebody else, trying to do somebody else, trying to conform to something else, just stop. Be yourself. Be who you are, and people will be attracted to you in a whole new and different way than you didn't ever expect. Yeah.
Amen to that. All right. Anything we haven't said about this that we need to say?
I've got everything out. As I scan my notes, I got everything out that I wanted to, so I'm good.
Very good.
You good?
So I guess it's time for this then. No matter who you are, where you are, or what you're doing, make sure between this episode and the next, you take time to enjoy the ride. Shed yourself of the negativity that is circling around in your head. Change those to positive thoughts.
In 4 easy steps.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.